You walk into a store with $400 burning a hole in your pocket, ready to buy a premium smartwatch. The salesperson shows you two options. One costs exactly $399. The other? A cool $1,199. And if you want the fancy version, nearly $2,000. Both are labeled Pro. Both promise professional-grade performance. But here's where it gets wild. The cheaper one might actually give you almost everything the expensive one does. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, stick around, because today we're putting the Amazfit T-Rex 3 Pro head-to-head against the legendary Garmin Fenix 8 Pro, and what I discovered might completely change how you think about spending big money on smartwatches. Before we dive in, smash that like button if you're tired of overpaying for tech, and subscribe because we're about to save you potentially $1,600. Let's get into it. The smartwatch market has reached a fascinating crossroads. For years, Garmin has dominated the premium outdoor and fitness watch space, virtually unchallenged. Their Fenix line has been the gold standard, the watch that serious athletes, adventurers, and outdoor enthusiasts swear by. But something interesting happened in 2024. Amazfit, known for delivering solid budget and mid-range options, decided to throw down the gauntlet with the T-Rex 3 Pro. This isn't just another cheap alternative trying to look expensive. This is a genuine attempt to deliver flagship features at a fraction of the flagship price. The question isn't whether the Garmin is better anymore. The real question is it $800 to $1,600 better? That's what we're here to find out, and I promise you, by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which watch deserves your hard-earned money. Let's talk about how these watches feel when you strap them on your wrist, because build quality isn't just about surviving a fall off a cliff. It's about daily comfort, perceived value, and whether you actually want to wear this thing every single day. The Amazfit T-Rex 3 Pro represents a massive leap forward from previous T-Rex models. We're talking about a titanium bezel paired with titanium buttons, a sapphire crystal display that laughs in the face of scratches, and a fiber-reinforced polymer case that keeps the weight manageable. This combination is genuinely impressive at this price point. Pick it up, and it feels substantial without being burdensome. The finishing is clean, the buttons have a satisfying click, and the overall aesthetic screams tactical outdoor readiness. What really sets Amazfit apart here is the size flexibility. You get two options: a 48mm case for those who want that commanding wrist presence, and a 44mm version for people who don't want to feel like they're wearing a small dinner plate. This matters more than you might think, especially if you have smaller wrists or simply prefer a more understated look. Now, the Garmin Fenix 8 Pro takes a different approach entirely. This watch doesn't try to impress you with looks, it intimidates you with capability. The build is military-grade tough, certified to withstand extremes that would destroy most consumer electronics. The materials are premium throughout, with options ranging from stainless steel to titanium, depending on which variant you choose. The MicroLED edition, in particular, uses titanium construction that feels absolutely luxurious. However, this is significant. Garmin made a controversial decision this generation. They eliminated the 43mm size option that existed in previous Fenix models. Now, your smallest choice is 47mm, with options going up to 51mm. For many people, especially those with wrists under 6.5 inches in circumference, this is a real problem. The watch becomes less of a sophisticated tool and more of an awkward chunk of metal that dominates your wrist and catches on sleeves. It's thicker than the previous generation too, which compounds the issue. Don't get me wrong, the build quality is absolutely top-notch, but Garmin's one-size-fits-most approach is genuinely disappointing. In terms of pure build, both watches will survive anything you throw at them, but Amazfit wins on versatility and accommodation. The display is your primary interface with any smartwatch, so getting this right is absolutely crucial. This is also where one of the most interesting technological battles plays out. The Amazfit T-Rex 3 Pro features a gorgeous AMOLED display with 3000 nits of peak brightness. Let me be crystal clear about this number because it matters. That's 3000, not 30,000. It's an important distinction, but even at 3000 nits, this is seriously bright. We're talking about a display that remains perfectly readable in harsh, direct sunlight. the kind of conditions where most smartwatches become frustrating mirrors. Colors are vibrant and punchy, blacks are deep and true, and the sapphire crystal protection means you're not constantly worried about scratches from rocks, branches, or accidental encounters with door frames. The always-on display mode works beautifully without obliterating your battery, and the overall visual experience is genuinely flagship quality. For $399, getting this level of display technology is remarkable, and it's one of the areas where Amazfit really doesn't compromise. Garmin, meanwhile, offers two distinct display technologies depending on which Fenix 8 Pro you choose. The standard edition features a significantly improved AMOLED display compared to previous generations, with much better brightness and clarity. It's a quality screen that handles outdoor visibility well. But then there's the MicroLED edition, and this is where things get interesting from a technology perspective. Garmin claims this is the brightest smartwatch display ever created, with brightness levels that theoretically blow away the competition. While Garmin doesn't publicly specify the exact nits rating, industry estimates suggest it's somewhere in the 4,000 to 4,500 nits range, though this hasn't been officially confirmed. Here's the reality check though. In actual outdoor use, the difference between a 3,000 nit AMOLED and Garmin's MicroLED isn't as dramatic as the numbers might suggest. Yes, the MicroLED is brighter, but both displays are extremely readable in direct sunlight. The bigger issue is that the MicroLED technology comes with serious trade-offs. Battery life takes a massive hit, and you're paying an extra $800 or more for this feature. For most users, the brightness advantage simply doesn't justify the cost and battery penalty. The Amazfit's AMOLED strikes a better balance between visual quality, outdoor performance, and battery efficiency. Health tracking is where smartwatches prove their worth beyond just telling time and tracking steps. Both watches pack in serious sensor technology, but they approach health monitoring with different philosophies. The Amazfit T-Rex 3 Pro utilizes the BioTracker 6.0 sensor, which represents Amazfit's latest generation of health monitoring technology. This sensor handles continuous heart rate monitoring, blood oxygen saturation measurements, stress tracking, and even skin temperature monitoring. In real-world testing, the heart rate accuracy is solid, typically staying within a few beats per minute of chest strap monitors during both steady-state and interval training. The blood oxygen readings are consistent and reasonable, though like most wrist-based SpO2 sensors, they're better for trends than medical-grade precision. Where Amazfit adds value is with their readiness score, which they call the Biocharge Energy Metric. This gives you a 0 to 100 rating each morning, telling you how recovered you are and how hard you should push that day. It considers sleep quality, heart rate variability, recent training load, and other factors. It's genuinely useful for avoiding overtraining and planning your week. The limitation here is that Amazfit doesn't include ECG functionality, so if you want medical-grade heart rhythm analysis, you're out of luck. The Garmin Fenix 8 Pro goes deeper into health metrics, reflecting the company's decades of experience in this space. The sensor package is comprehensive: optical heart rate, pulse oximetry, skin temperature, and on certain models, ECG capability. But where Garmin truly shines is in the sophistication of its algorithms and the depth of data analysis. You get HRV status tracking that's among the most accurate in the industry, training readiness scores that consider more variables than Amazfit, and a performance condition metric that adjusts in real time during activities. Garmin's sleep tracking is more detailed, breaking down sleep stages with impressive accuracy and providing genuinely useful insights about recovery. The training status feature tells you whether you're peaking, maintaining, or overreaching, which is invaluable for serious athletes. The ecosystem integration is where Garmin really pulls ahead. Data syncs seamlessly with third-party platforms, health professionals can access detailed reports, and the historical tracking goes back years with consistent methodology. For recreational users, Amazfit provides everything you need with impressive accuracy. For serious athletes and people managing health conditions, Garmin's additional depth and proven accuracy justify the premium. This is where the rubber meets the road, or more accurately, where your shoes meet the trail. Sports tracking capabilities define these watches for most buyers, and both manufacturers have pushed impressive features into their respective devices. The Amazfit T-Rex 3 Pro supports an absolutely staggering array of activities. Over 180 sports modes, covering everything from the obvious running, cycling, and swimming to the obscure like chess, esports, and various dance styles. While you might roll your eyes at tracking chess, the breadth of options means virtually any activity you do can be logged and analyzed. The GPS system uses dual-band, multi-constellation tracking, pulling signals from GPS, GLONASS Galileo, Beidou, and QZSS satellites. In practical testing, the GPS accuracy is impressive, typically matching dedicated GPS devices and competing Garmin watches within a few percentage points on distance and route accuracy. Where Amazfit really surprised everyone this year is with the inclusion of offline routable maps. This feature, which used to be exclusive to premium Garmin models, allows you to download detailed maps directly to the watch and get turn-by-turn navigation without your phone. For a sub-$400 watch, this is genuinely remarkable and opens up possibilities that simply didn't exist at this price point before. However, and this is important to understand, having a feature and having a polished feature are two different things. Amazfit's navigation implementation works, but it's rough around the edges. Routes sometimes fail to calculate on the first attempt, requiring you to restart the process. You can't adjust your route mid-activity without stopping your workout, which is frustrating during long runs or rides. There's no navigate back to start option, which is a feature I use constantly on other watches. The maps themselves are detailed enough, but the interface for interacting with them lacks the refinement you'd expect. Amazfit is actively improving this through firmware updates, and each update does make things better, but it's not a seamless experience yet. Beyond navigation, the sports tracking features are solid. You get structured workouts, interval training, custom targets, and post-workout analysis that covers the basics well. Training load tracking helps you understand if you're pushing too hard or not enough. The recovery time suggestions are reasonable, if somewhat basic. For most recreational athletes and fitness enthusiasts, the T-Rex 3 Pro delivers everything needed to train effectively and track progress comprehensively. Garmin, on the other hand, has spent nearly 2 decades perfecting sports tracking, and it shows in every aspect of the Fenix 8 Pro. The GPS accuracy is exceptional, arguably the best in the consumer smartwatch space. Routes are clean, distance measurements are precise, and the multi-band GPS ensures accuracy even in challenging environments like dense forests or urban canyons. The navigation features are where Garmin truly dominates. Turn-by-turn directions are clear and timely. The round-trip routing intelligently suggests routes based on your desired distance and direction. You can adjust routes on the fly during activities, rerouting automatically if you deviate. The back-to-start feature provides multiple route options to get you home, considering factors like terrain and road type. Everything works smoothly and reliably. The training features go far beyond basic tracking. VO2 max estimation is highly accurate and actually useful for planning training zones. Training Effect tells you how each workout impacts your aerobic and anaerobic fitness. Training Load Focus shows whether you're balanced across different intensity zones. Performance Condition adjusts during activities based on your real-time physiological responses. Recovery Time recommendations consider your entire training history and current fitness level. For serious athletes training for specific events, these metrics are invaluable. The difference is polish and depth. Amazfit gives you 85 to 90% of the functionality at 35% of the price, but Garmin provides the refinement and reliability that professionals demand. Modern smartwatches need to be more than just fitness trackers. They need to integrate into your digital life seamlessly. This is where these two watches take dramatically different approaches, each prioritizing different aspects of smart functionality. The Amazfit T-Rex 3 Pro surprised many people with how much it packed into the smart features category. The built-in flashlight, featuring both white and red light modes, is genuinely useful. It's not just a gimmick. It's bright enough to find your tent zipper at night or read a map without destroying your night vision. The microphone and speaker enable Bluetooth calling when your phone is nearby, and call quality is actually decent for quick conversations. Where things get futuristic is the Zepp Flow Assistant integration. This is powered by ChatGPT technology and runs directly on the watch. You can ask it to change settings, answer questions, provide information, or even help with basic problem solving. It's not as comprehensive as having ChatGPT on your phone, but for quick queries while your hands are busy, it's surprisingly handy. Music playback is supported, but with a significant limitation. It's MP3 files only, loaded directly onto the watch. No Spotify, no Apple Music, no streaming services. You're essentially back in the iPod era, manually managing music files. It works fine if you're willing to put in the effort, but it's definitely not as convenient as streaming. Payment functionality is notably absent as well. There's no NFC chip, so no tap to pay for coffee after your morning run. The Garmin Fenix 8 Pro takes smart features in a completely different direction, prioritizing safety and independence over convenience features. The standout capability is LTE connectivity on certain models. This allows you to make calls, send texts, and enable live tracking without carrying your phone. For long trail runs or bike rides where you want to stay connected but don't want to carry a phone, this is transformative. The implementation requires a subscription service, typically around $8 to $10 per month, and it adds bulk to the watch, but the freedom it provides is worth it for many users. Even more impressive is the satellite communication capability, which uses the Garmin Response Network. In truly remote locations where cellular service doesn't exist, you can send text messages and trigger SOS alerts via satellite. This isn't a gimmick. This is potentially life-saving technology for serious backcountry adventures. The setup process is admittedly clunky, and the subscription cost adds up over time. But if you regularly venture into remote areas, the peace of mind is invaluable. Music support is more comprehensive than Amazfit, with Spotify, Amazon Music, and Deezer integration. You still need Wi-Fi to sync playlists, and the process is slower than you'd like, but having thousands of songs accessible without phone tethering is convenient. The trade-off is clear. Amazfit gives you practical, everyday conveniences like voice assistants and flashlights, while Garmin focuses on capabilities that enhance safety and independence in challenging environments. Battery life makes or breaks the long-term satisfaction with any smartwatch. There's nothing more frustrating than a watch that needs charging every other day, especially if you're tracking multi-day adventures. The Amazfit T-Rex 3 Pro delivers impressive endurance, with the 48mm model claiming up to 25 days of typical use. In real-world testing with moderate fitness tracking, always-on display enabled, and regular notifications, you're looking at more like 18 to 20 days, which is still fantastic. The GPS endurance is rated at 33 to 37 hours of continuous tracking depending on which GPS mode you use. I tested this extensively on long trail runs and cycling adventures, and the watch consistently delivered on these promises. Even with intensive daily use, including hour-long GPS workouts, you're getting close to 2 weeks between charges. The charging process is reasonably quick, taking about 2 hours for a full charge. Interestingly, the T-Rex 3 Pro's battery life is actually slightly lower than the standard T-Rex 3, which makes sense given the brighter display and additional features like the flashlight and voice assistant. However, the trade-off feels worth it for the functionality gained. Battery anxiety is essentially eliminated with this watch, which is exactly how it should be for an outdoor-focused device. The Garmin Fenix 8 Pro's battery life varies significantly depending on which model you choose, and this is crucial to understand before buying. The standard AMOLED versions deliver similar battery performance to previous Fenix generations, with roughly 10 to 16 days of smartwatch use depending on size and usage patterns. GPS battery life ranges from 30 to 48 hours again, depending on size and GPS mode selected. These numbers are solid and competitive with other premium smartwatches, though noticeably behind the Amazfit. Where things get problematic is with the MicroLED edition. That ultra-bright display is a battery killer. Real-world usage shows battery life drops to around 4 to 7 days of typical use, and GPS endurance takes a massive hit as well. For a $2,000 watch, needing to charge weekly feels like a significant compromise. Garmin does offer extensive battery customization options, allowing you to fine-tune GPS accuracy, display brightness, and feature usage to extend life, but you're essentially trading functionality for endurance. The watch charges reasonably quickly, and Garmin's battery estimation is generally accurate, so you're unlikely to be caught off guard. For most users, the standard Fenix 8 Pro provides acceptable battery life. The MicroLED edition, however, asks you to compromise on one of the most important practical aspects of a smartwatch in exchange for a marginally brighter display. Here's where we get to the heart of the matter. Is spending 3 to 5 times more money on the Garmin actually worth it? This isn't a simple yes or no question because the answer genuinely depends on who you are and how you'll use the watch. Let's break down the value proposition objectively. The Amazfit T-Rex 3 Pro at $399 delivers approximately 85 to 90% of the Garmin's core functionality. You get a premium build with titanium and sapphire, a gorgeous and plenty bright AMOLED display, comprehensive health tracking, extensive sports modes, surprisingly accurate GPS, offline maps, and excellent battery life. The smart features are practical and modern, including voice assistant integration that Garmin doesn't offer. For recreational athletes, fitness enthusiasts, and people who want a capable outdoor watch without breaking the bank, this represents extraordinary value. The areas where it falls short, primarily navigation polish and ecosystem depth, are noticeable, but not deal breakers for most users. You're getting a watch that looks, feels, and performs like it should cost $800 or more and pays less than half that. The value equation is frankly absurd in the best possible way. The Garmin Fenix 8 Pro, starting at $1,199 and climbing to nearly $2,000, asks you to pay a massive premium for incremental improvements and specific capabilities. What are you actually getting for that extra money? First, you're getting the most refined, polished sports watch experience available. Everything works flawlessly, the ecosystem is mature and comprehensive, and the reliability is unmatched. Second, you're getting legitimately advanced features like LTE connectivity and satellite communication that simply don't exist on the Amazfit. Third, you're getting depth in training metrics that serious athletes actually use to optimize performance and avoid injury. Fourth, you're getting a proven track record of accuracy, longevity, and support that Garmin has built over decades. If you're a professional athlete, if you regularly venture into genuinely remote locations where safety features matter, if you demand absolute precision in your training data, or if you want the most capable outdoor watch regardless of cost, the Garmin justifies its price. For everyone else, and I mean the vast majority of potential buyers, the price premium is very difficult to justify purely on functional grounds. Here's my honest recommendation. Buy the Amazfit T-Rex 3 Pro unless you have specific, compelling reasons to need what only Garmin provides. If you absolutely need satellite communication for backcountry safety, get the Garmin. If you're training for Olympic trials and need the absolute best data accuracy and analysis, get the Garmin. If money is no object and you simply want the best outdoor watch available, get the Garmin. For everyone else, the T-Rex 3 Pro delivers shocking value. You'll save $800 to $1,600, get a watch that looks premium, performs excellently, and meets all your actual needs rather than checking boxes on a spec sheet. Put that saved money toward better running shoes, a gym membership, outdoor gear, or literally anything else that improves your fitness journey. That's the smart financial decision, and honestly, you won't feel like you're missing out on much in day-to-day use. The T-Rex 3 Pro is the better choice for most people, and that's not something I expected to say when I started this comparison. So there you have it, a comprehensive, honest breakdown of how a $399 smartwatch stacks up against a $1,200 to $2,000 flagship. The smartwatch market is changing rapidly, and the days when you had to spend a fortune to get premium features are definitively over. Amazfit has proven that with smart engineering and reasonable compromises, incredible value is possible. Garmin remains the king of the mountain for those who need absolute best-in-class capabilities, but their dominance is no longer unquestioned. If this comparison helped you make a decision or saved you from spending more than necessary, do me a favor. Hit that like button right now. It genuinely helps more people find this video and make informed decisions. Drop a comment below telling me which watch you're leaning toward and why. I read every single comment, and I love hearing how these comparisons influence real purchasing decisions. If you want more honest, detailed tech comparisons that actually save you money, subscribe to the channel and tap the notification bell. I've got more smartwatch comparisons coming soon, including budget options under $200 that might surprise you even more. Thanks for sticking around until the end. Remember, the best smartwatch isn't the most expensive one. It's the one that meets your actual needs without emptying your wallet. Make the smart choice, and I'll see you in the next video.